we were refugees when we came to the States. And so education was a big thing for my mother, for me to pursue. It's sort of challenging because they aren't aware of all the things that it takes to be a college student. It's taken like a lot of like me explaining what it is that I'm doing at school, what classes I'm taking. And it's taking them some time to really be like, okay, maybe she does need this extra time to just do her homework. Maybe she does need some time off to just relax. And so it was difficult for me to be like, Mom, I just need my time.
It's definitely weirder. I know they kind of see me more as an adult now, which can be a good thing and a bad thing. Like, I don't know. They definitely don't see me as a little kid anymore, even though they wish I was. But it is nice just to see like how excited they get, and they like to hear the stories. And I like hearing the stories when I finally get back home. But it is kind of hard too, just to like remember to keep in touch with your parents, because I know sometimes like even I just like slips my mind for a while and I'm like, oh no, I haven't called my parents at all. I only call them maybe like once a week. I should probably call them more, but I call them about once a week, only because they like want to talk for an hour, and it's sometimes hard to find an hour to talk to them.
I mean, I guess we're a little bit closer just because we don't get to talk, and we don't get to see each other as much, but also at the same time, drifting apart just because of those exact things. You don't get to talk and see each other as much. It just makes it kind of even nicer when you get to see each other again, and it makes you appreciate it more, I guess.
Our relationship has grown in a lot of ways. Like, I think, or at least I hope, my parents see me as like more of an adult now. College is one of those things where like you have your own experience. You kind of start to have your own like life almost outside of like the life that you've had like with your parents, like in your house. So I think like our relationship has grown in that way, that like they start to respect you as like an individual and like your own decisions and like your own like, I don't know, life values and interests.
During high school, I like went back and forth between parents, but I didn't want to do that while I was remote learning. I was just like, I didn't have the energy to like drive back and forth. And I was like, I'm 18 now, so I'm just going to stay at my mom's. But I feel like it's different now because I'm in college. Like, even though I'm still home, still doing the same things, she knew about like the time consuming nature of like college and everything. So she's been really helpful with that. And we kind of are like a well-oiled machine now. It's kind of like I have like my like quiet home space for school hours when she's at work. And then, I don't know, like it's been working pretty well for us.
I'm also a remote student, but my mom works from home. So it's a little different because she goes on break sometimes when I'm in class. So that kind of like gets in the way. But I think in general, our relationship hasn't really changed that much, because while I'm doing school stuff, she's at work.
I probably talk to my mom and my dad like once a week, maybe. Like I'll send them a text just to let them know I'm okay. I guess I'm really lucky because my parents have always kind of been just given me that space and that opportunity to be independent. They more understand that I'm coming here for, to focus on school. But it can definitely be hard, especially for me coming so far away from home. I really do miss my family and my pets and my siblings.
I'm the first one that graduated high school, and I'm the first one that's ever went to college. So in my family, I'm the first generation to go to college. So my mom and dad are like ecstatic in there, like, we'll do anything you need, you just name it. It's really scary for that. Like, I kind of feel bad for them because they didn't go through that as teens or as young adults. They didn't go to college, obviously, for the first generation. So like my parents had no idea. And when I first was like, I'm thinking about going, they're like, oh my goodness, what do we have to do? And I'm like, you don't have to do anything now. For somebody that didn't go through it and doesn't know, it's scary because they didn't know what to say for it. I mean, you hear everybody talk about a college fund, but they didn't think about it back then. My parents never thought about that when me and my two sisters were younger. They just didn't.
Give your student some space. Don't like hover and like support them in any ways that they need?
I would say the best support that they can give them is when we do call and just complain, to just listen, because there is a lot to complain about when it comes to college. Asking once in a while, like, how are classes going? How is your social life? How, like, sometimes parents are comfortable with that, sometimes students are comfortable with that. But just you sort of just asking makes it more, makes me think that you're actually thinking about my experiences at Champlain or at school. It sort of puts down boundaries between parent and child. And it like allows the child or your student to know that you're willing to listen to them about the good things and the bad things and annoying things.
It can be difficult to kind of adjust to living on your own and being more independent when your parents are constantly kind of there and worried about you, which is a good thing, but definitely giving kids space and trusting them, but at the same time, like letting them know you're there and that you support them.
Just let them do their thing. And if they tell you something and it doesn't necessarily make sense to you, like, don't try to rationalize it.
For parents, I would just say like always be there for your kid and like listen to your kid's needs. Most parents always want to like be upfront about like, I'm here for you, and they want to be like proactive about like, let me like ask you if you need help before you like come to me. But like your kids are gonna come to you if they need help. But like you have to give them the chance to like figure it out on their own, because that's what, you know, college is about, and that's what like becoming an adult is about, like figuring stuff out on your own. But like always be there like as like a support system if they need to reach out to you.
Giving them the space that they need, because as has been mentioned before, you know, it's a big change, you know, students, they can handle themselves, but yeah, I say just give them the space that they need.